Welcome back to our study called The Curse, and today we're looking at Genesis 3:17 through 19. We're going to be specifically looking at the pain of man here. What did the curse do to man, to Adam and his offspring? So let's take a look at that. Well, because of Adam's sin of rebellion, the entire world would be affected by his sin. His sin impacted the entire race of humans and beyond, to the very nature of the earth, to the universe. So let's talk about some earth pains that we see here in 17 through 18. Last study we talked about birth pains of woman. Here we have some earth pains. God curses the ground because of Adam's sin. Before Adam could walk up to any tree that he wanted to and eat, he lived in a grocery store. But now he was going to have to work the ground. Back in chapter 2, where we were told that there were no bushes and plants in the field, now we have that reality. Adam was going to have to plant. There were going to be thorny, non-fruit producing plants everywhere. And thistles would make their appearance. And if Adam wanted to eat and not die of starvation, he was going to have to start cultivating the ground. He was going to have to sow seeds. He was going to have to work to get food. Paul tells us in Romans 8 that the earth was subjected to futility and is in bondage to corruption. That's his way of describing what happened with Adam when God cursed the ground, because the earth is subjected to futility. It's struggling. We have other verses where it talks about the earth has labor pains. It's waiting for the day to be reborn, to be made new again. So that's the first part of the curse towards Adam, that the ground would be cursed. The next pain that Adam would have that would be experienced are work pains. And if you look at Genesis 3:18 through 19, you read that there. So here we find, by the sweat of his face, Adam would eat bread. Adam was told to work the garden before the fall. Keeping the garden would have been a delight. It would have been awesome. There were no weeds, no disease, no sweat. But now, because of Adam's sin, working would become a struggle. He would have to pour his energy into working just to eat. Before Adam sinned, he didn't have to work to eat. If he was hungry, he went to the tree and ate. Pre-fall work would have been more closely, probably more related to our idea of recreation. It would have been something completely enjoyable. It would have been, there was an exertion of energy, but it would have been great. It would have been fun. It would have been something you wanted to do, like recreation that we do today, like when we play sports or do something like that. That's kind of how work would have been like. But post-fall work became necessary to survive. If you didn't do it, you had to do it, because if you didn't do it, you're dead. That's it. You're going to starve to death. You're not going to make it. So we see how work has changed. So Adam would have those pains and work. It wouldn't be easy anymore. It would be a struggle. The next pain that Adam would experience are death pains. We see that in 3:19. The last word to Adam was the reminder of what God told Adam would happen if he ate from the forbidden tree. This is a reminder of what he told him before. There, God said, "You'll surely die." And here he tells Adam that he will return to the ground from which he was taken. Now, God had the right to strike Adam and Eve dead right there on the spot. As soon as they took the fruit, boom, gone. He had that right to do that. That would have been a just punishment for what they had done. Isn't that what God said? In the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. He even told them that could happen. That should happen. God most certainly could have ended their physical lives right there. Boom, gone. But he chose not to, but to defer, to forbear, as the Bible says. At least for Adam, 9 centuries later. The guy lives a long time. So death didn't come to Adam immediately that day. Physical death didn't. But we do see the outward effects of his spiritual death. Inside his soul, something changed. He felt naked, tried to cover himself. He hid from God's presence. He blamed Eve and God for his rebellion. You know what? Adam did die that day. He died spiritually. And before that, he would have had that. Before that, he did have that relationship between God that was perfect, that he could just talk to God and God talk to him. It would have been amazing to see that kind of relationship, to have that kind of relationship where there's nothing that stands between you and God. There's nothing that stands between you and other people. Think about that. We don't even know what that means. We don't know what those two statements mean. That there's nothing in between. There's no sin that taints our relationships. There's no sin that's tainting my thoughts about who you are as a person or who I think of God. None of that. So we don't know what that is. And that's really, for mankind, I think, is the worst part of the curse, is that we lost that. But thankfully, there is a solution. And we'll get to that.